Hello, welcome to ST World Affair. I'm your host, Sanjeev Tanna. Today, we are going to talk about President-elect Trump's policy and bringing manufacturing job in USA. My guest today, Mr. R, a Trump supporter and ST World Affairs political commentator. Mr. R, welcome to the ST World Affairs. Thanks, Sanjeev, for inviting me at your show. Mr. R, President-elect Trump is expected to embrace Twitter to announce his administration policy. Mr. Trump has used Twitter on several occasions. Russians hacking saga, Twitter attacks on corporations like Ford, GM, Toyota in order to retain jobs in USA. UN resolution on Israel settlement, escalation of nuclear programs. These are all serious matters. Should Mr. Trump consult with political advisors, consider political facts, historical facts, and decisions, and then comments on proper channel, not Twitter? First, these are not policies. These are signals. Signals to Russia, China, UN, Arab world, and whole world. These are negotiating techniques by President-elect Trump. Wait a minute. Negotiating? I thought these are frightening techniques. Mr. Trump is not president yet. There cannot be two presidents of the United States at a time. Shouldn't he wait for his terms? Shouldn't he speak after January 20? Let's talk about bringing manufacturing jobs back in USA. First of all, things that China manufacture are not easy to duplicate. I mean labor costs, skills, and government incentives to trades. Now, Mr. Trump talks about imposing tariff to products coming from China. You know what? President Hoover had passed a tariff bill to raise U.S. tariffs on close to 900 products. Guess what? Other countries retaliated and impacted somewhat U.S. economy. I think most of the people are misinterpreting Mr. Trump's comments. What he meant that tariffs are not a final solution to bring manufacturing job back in USA. We need to sustain our manufacturing job. So Mr. Trump wants to renegotiate trades with the countries taking Americans' job, so to speak, Mexico and China. Okay, I am not economist, but I have engineering background. Well, I admit I'm a lousy engineer, but here are my 5 cents on why Americans are losing manufacturing jobs. Number one, manufacturing sectors have become productive, meaning robotics, automations, real-time quality monitoring, data collections, tools like Six Sigma, Kaizen, all these things have made manufacturing efficient and productive. As a result, you need less number of people. Number two, labor costs. Let's just face it. Developing nation labor cost is cheaper than American labor. Number three, tax incentives and government supports. Countries like China, Vietnam, and India, governments set aside export zones for local manufacturers. These tax zones provide tax incentives to low interest or some types of zero interest financing to startups or some well-established company. Government supports supply chains and logistics also. In USA, Utah is setting up manufacturing plant in Silicon Valley. Forget about tax incentive if you are a small or mid-sized company. Sure, if you are Tesla, you may get some tax credits from government. Number four, burdensome regulations. US manufacturers have to follow complex and costly federal and state regulation. Look, Mr. Trump plans to reduce corporate tax and simplify tax code. This will also boost manufacturing sector. Well, we'll have to see that. Mr. Trump, thanks for joining ST World Affair. Let's move on to our next topic, impact of India's demonetizations to Indian citizens. Thank you. On November 8, 2016, Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi, declared rupees 500, approximately US $7.50, and rupees 1,000, approximately US $15 notes, India's two biggest currency denominations that accounts for 86% of hard currency from circulation by value, invalid from midnight that day. Government of India plans to replace the defunct notes with new 500 rupees and 2,000 rupees notes. But distribution of new notes are slow. It's been now almost 2 months. Government of India have suggested and amended withdrawal limits several times. Now, bank withdrawals remain limited, with account holder only able to remove approximately 24,000 rupees a week, which comes down to $353, and 4,000 rupees, approximately $60 a day from ATM machines. So today we are going to talk about impact of demonetizations in India. Welcome to ST World Affairs. I'm your host, Sanjeev Tanna. My guest today, Mr. NRI, a non-resident Indian from San Francisco, an average Joe, a common man from New Delhi, India, and Mr. India, who works for Government of India. So I want to start with you, Mr. India. Reasons behind 500 rupees and 1,000 rupees demonetizations are to fight against corruptions, black money, or money laundering, fake currency, terror funding, and so on. This is great. But my question to you is that to punish the bad guys, why honest and hardworking Indians need to suffer? People who have money in their own saving and checking accounts can do only limited withdrawals, and that too standing in long queue for hours. Your thoughts, Mr. India? Sanjeev, you got it all wrong. In order to understand Government of India's action, let me take you into India's economy. India's population is 1.3 billion. Only 2 to 3% Indians pay the income tax. Let me repeat, only 2 to 3%. After enjoying 70 years of independence, 30% of Indians are living under poverty, although India's GDP growth is 7% above. Now, India's top 10% holds 3/4 of country's wealth. India's top 1% owns 53% of country's wealth. Roughly 300 million people live in villages. What am I trying to make point here? Government of India need tax revenue from Indian citizens to fund various programs like infrastructure rebuild, agriculture, poverty elimination, etc. Besides, India lives in tough neighborhood, China and Pakistan. So India spends approximately 2% of GDP income to defense. Here comes a common man, average Joe. Okay, I am not sure where you are leading our conversation, Mr. India. You know who I am? I'm a farmer. I'm a small-time shop owner where people come to buy clothes, shoes, toys, utensils. I'm a manufacturer. I'm a diamond merchant. I'm a trader. I'm a restaurant owner. I am a common man. Let me give you an example. Now I'm a widow. I lost my husband 15 years ago. My husband left 4 lakhs cash, roughly $6,000 for me, which I lended to a few borrowers to earn modest interest. Now I have got 8 lakhs, roughly around $12,000 in cash. This is my lifetime saving. Now Prime Minister Modi's government is asking me to deposit my lifetime cash saving to the bank, which is 50 kilometers away from where I live. I was being told if I deposit my lifetime saving in the bank, I'll get income tax scrutiny. So what do? I'm an uneducated widow. I can't even write my own name. Here comes Mr. NRI. Okay, let me jump here. First, let me congratulate PM Modi's government's. Indian citizens must understand that no pain, no gain. Prime Minister Modi's actions are a step in the right direction to eradicate black money. In USA, roughly 55% American pay federal tax. 24% of taxpayers goes to Social Security, 25% goes to Medicare, and 16% money goes to defense and international security. These are major high-level statistics. A common man. Wait, Mr. NRI. It's easy for you to suggest no pain, no gain from your 4-bedroom bungalow. You are living 9 to 6 p.m. lifestyle. You get clean air, 24/7 water, great infrastructure, 2-car garage house, and private school for your kids. I'm sure most of NRI supports Prime Minister Modi's action. Nowadays, demonetization must be discussion in your weekend parties, but ground reality is different in India. Okay. We are running out of time, but here are my final and balanced thought. First of all, I'm a fan of you, Prime Minister Mr. Modi, just like many Indians and NRIs. However, I'm not a big fan of demonetizations. I don't doubt your intentions, especially to disrupt terrorist funding and fake notes. Good job. However, I don't understand priorities. What are you going to achieve with demonetizations? My guess, 60, 80, 90% old or defunct notes are back in Reserve Bank of India? I don't know. Since November 8th, people were made to deposit money into their own accounts directly and other means. Of course, black money remains in the forms of gold, land, and flats. I don't think government of India have efficient way to keep track of benami properties of individual. Prime Minister Modi had announced cheaper housing for poor, special financing for small businesses, women's, and farmers. Great. But I fail to understand if PM Modi's government really wanted to go after tax evaders and promote schemes like helping poor, farmers, women. This could have been done without demonetizations. Rules are already in place to go after tax evaders and black money holders. In my opinion, here are India's issues. Number one, crumbling infrastructures. Number two, toxic air pollutions. Number three, poor healthcare system. Number four, corrupt criminal justice system. And then corruption in real estate, that too. So people are holding benami properties, and there are not enough, there are not enough public schools and education system. Look, I understand government of India needs tax revenue from citizens of India to pay bills running various social programs. So currently, only 2 to 3% Indians are paying tax. Do you really believe as a result of demonetizations, more Indians will pay tax? After demonetizations, government have more data in reviewing financials of individual. Government is now more powerful. Will this promote more corruptions? Wouldn't honest citizens of India will be harassed by government bureaucrats with such power? After all, crooks will get away with bribes. I don't know. The way I see, this is a tax evasion matters. Now, one has to wonder why Indian citizens don't like to pay tax to their government. After all, India is the largest democracy in the world. Two words, transparency and potholes. Yes, potholes. Most of Indian citizens believe tax revenue collected by government of India will not be utilized 100% effectively to run welfare and social program. And there is no accountability and transparency. Look at all the different scams, 2G scams, Commonwealth game scam, buffer scam, Delhi CNG scam, Uttarakhand relief scam, arms deal scam, Indian coal scam, Uttar Pradesh food grain scam. I can keep on going. Now, the second one is potholes. Yes, potholes. I see potholes across major cities of India exposed by first spell of heavy rains, despite millions of dollars or crores of Indian rupees spent on the roads. So potholes suggest deep-rooted corruption in Indian system. So the way I look at it, you fix those potholes forever, then Indian citizens will trust their own government. Bring social security style programs, introduce healthcare systems to all the citizens of India, regardless of their caste, race, or religion. I think citizens of India will start believing in government if the corruption within the government of India will curtail, reduce corporate tax, and simplify tax code. After all, why wouldn't Indian citizens will not pay taxes? Crores of rupees are donated in building temples, ashrams, derasars, mosques, gurudwaras. So why won't Indian citizens pay tax to build their nations? I think they will. Remember, transparency and potholes. Well, time to go. I hope year 2017 will be great for India and citizens of India. Thank you.